The Greater Centerville Historians organized in the year 2000. The purpose of the organization is to preserve the history of the Township of Centerville, Cleveland and surrounding area. Gerald O'Neill, Charlie Bauer, Richard Wiegand, and myself, Kathleen Sixel, were the founding members. In 1831, the territory south of Green Bay was sold to the U.S. government by the Native Americans who had title to the land. The consideration was the promise of a reservation in another state. The Township of Centerville was established in 1850. The township had a village called Centerville. The reason for the hamlet's original name of Centerville was, in the days of the Indians, there was a trail along Lake Michigan between Manitowoc and Sheboygan. This heavenly spot was exactly at the halfway mark, so the early white man gave it the name Centerville. In 1849, the village of Centerville was surveyed and laid out in lots and blocks. The village of Centerville was renamed Hika when the Postmaster General informed the village leaders that another Centerville was located in the state. When it became time for Centerville to be renamed, a judge in Manitowoc by the name of Albert Schmidt would take kids hiking. The judge said, "You can't call a town hiking, so why not make it Hika?" Thus the village of Centerville became Hika. In the early years, Centerville had the vision of becoming a lake port. To encourage ships to dock there, 2 piers were built into Lake Michigan. Many German immigrants arrived by schooners, and the village began to grow. The village had a brick factory, stores, schools, a Lutheran and a Catholic church, mills, saloons, blacksmith shop, and a fire department, and a brewery. When the brewery was built, the settlement began to flourish. But when fire destroyed the brewery, the largest industry, there was no longer a need for the harbor facilities. So ended this chapter of the development of Hika. 2 miles west of Hika, another settlement known as St. Wendel began to grow. It had a Catholic church, a general store with a connected dance hall, and a post office was also located in the complex, a funeral parlor, and at one time a motel. With the clearing of the forest, tilling of the land began. This prompted the exporting of lumber and grains. The farmers of Centerville looked forward to the building of a railway since they had a serious problem transporting their products. In 1873, the Milwaukee, Lakeshore, and Western Railroad was built between the settlements of Hika and St. Wendel and was named Centerville Station. In 1880, Centerville Station was renamed Cleveland after President Grover Cleveland. Cleveland, at that point in time, owes its growth to the fact that the Township of Centerville was a rich farming community, and farmers from miles around would bring products to be shipped by rail or ship. The village of Cleveland had several grocery stores, a furniture store, a funeral parlor, several saloons, Lutheran church, hardware stores, several gas stations, newspaper, photographer studio, several car dealerships, cheese factory, several feed mills, livestock yard, and lumber yards. The biggest business was the Cleveland Co-op, which offered many types of services. With the failing of grain crops, the farmers began dairy farming. With the abundance of milk, another industry began, cheese and butter making. Local cheese factories dotted the countryside. One-room schools were usually built near the cheese factories, so children would have a ride to school when farmers brought their milk. In 1958, Hika, St. Wendel, and Cleveland incorporated into the village of Cleveland. In 1968, the Cleveland Elementary School was built. The Township of Centerville has seen many farming changes, but dairy farming is still the primary vocation. Today, Cleveland is known as the seat of Lakeshore Technical College, which offers an educational alternative to 4-year colleges. An ancient proverb states, When an old person dies, a library burns to the ground. These words were the inspiration for organizing the Greater Centerville Historians. We hope to preserve as many memories as possible.
Okay, today is September 26, 2006, and we're checking into the various cheese factories that were located in Centerville from back in the 1870s perhaps. And we're starting out with this one right here, and we'll get more information together from the people that are with us today. This is looking toward the road, and it's on Union Road as much as I know at this point in time. We'll have more information very shortly. Okay, we'll do that. Again, this is another view on the north side of the building. Looks like a stone structure. Okay, we're on the east side of this particular building, and like I said, we'll get more information from the people that are with us today, and we'll have more introductions and so forth, but we're just starting out. And this looks like some kind of a building that had a venting system on the roof. Okay, I'm with Mr. Charlie Bauer. Again, it's September 26, 2006. We're on a certain road, and he'll identify that. Go right ahead, please.
Yes, right behind our camera is South Union Road. And if you look down the road, we're looking south. The intersection down there where the stop sign is, that is South Cleveland Road. So this particular cheese factory is located just a little north of South Cleveland Road, and it's on the east side of South Union Road, and the designated township house number for this particular site here would be 15621.
Okay, very good.
And that would be the location of this particular cheese factory.
All right, very good, Charlie. Appreciate that. Anything else that you can come up with there?
And I believe we're in section number 29.
Okay. About the classic residence, did you mention anything there, or at this point we don't know for sure yet, right?
I don't have that information, Jerry.
Okay, we'll get that. Thank you. Okay, we've got a group together today to try to resolve some questions pertaining to cheese factories, and they'll have them introduce themselves, but we'll start first of all with Kathy as far as the introduction today. Go right ahead, please.
My name is Kathy Sixel. It is September 26, 2006. Today we have a group of us touring, and we are trying to find information out about all the cheese factories.
And in what township is that, Sam?
And this is for the Township of Centerville.
All right.
And we are known as the Greater Centerville Historians.
Okay, very good.
And on Sunday, the Green Bay Packers won for the first time. Brett Favre made a historic thing. He threw his 400th touchdown, so I thought we should acknowledge that. And you can see Ed and I are Packer fans.
That's correct. Go Packers. Okay, now we're again at a certain cheese factory, I believe, and you can indicate, or whoever wants to, what name it is, and if there was any changes in the names.
This is the this is the Classic Cheese Factory, and I think Audrey and Ed and Melvin have more information than I do because they're locals from the area.
Okay. We'll start with Audrey, if you'd like. Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Audrey Erdle, and I've been doing some of the research on the town of Centerville cheese factories. And I know this is Klessig's Cheese Factory, and I don't think the name changed too much because Klessig sold in 1912. Leo Klessig was the last Klessig that made cheese there,
Okay.
and he sold in 1912. I'm not sure, I don't have my...
Could have been Edwin Yost.
Yeah, there was an Edwin Yost from Cleveland that was a cheesemaker here,
Okay.
and he talked. I didn't bring the pictures in the car.
Okay.
But there was an extra building that isn't on that. So I don't know if that was, but Lisa said that part of the building was removed and hauled to where Brian Kramer's cheese factory is.
Okay.
Brian Kramer's Cheese Factory was Clover Leaf, and it's located on X and Union Road.
Okay. And this is also on Union Road.
This is South Union Road.
All right.
And it would be Lisa Heimrel is the one that gave Audrey the information, right?
Right.
All right. Very good. Thank you. And we'll go over to the gentleman here, and Ed or Bud, whatever you would like.
Okay.
There we go, Bud. Ed, would you like to start us out?
Well, Ed Heckman,
Yes, sir.
come from Spring Valley, a long-time cheese-making family,
Yes, sir.
but that was in the town of Mimi. I, as a kid, rode around with one of our panel trucks that picked up cream at some of the cheese factories here in town, Centerville, and my dad made butter. And so I was only at the most about 10 years old, so I don't really remember a lot of the details.
Okay.
Except riding around.
All right. Now, as far as this particular cheese factory, have you ever had anything connection with this at all in any way?
Not that I know of. I think it was before my time.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much, Ed. And we have another gentleman here. He'll introduce himself. Go right ahead, please.
Melvin Yeaney, and I live I was brought up about 2 miles north of here,
Okay.
and I don't know much about this factory because it was closed before I got around much.
Okay. All right. But it was a cheese factory. They made cheese here.
Yes.
And the young lady that we were talking to, she said something about a longhorn, or what? Did I hear that right?
Longhorns they made, which was a hoop about that long.
Okay. And the lady we talked to and who provided some pictures, who was that, please?
Lisa Heimrel.
That was Lisa Heimrel.
She was a Klessig.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And they really are owners of this property.
All right.
She and her husband, and it's really known as Saxon Farm. It's a corporation.
All right.
And they make maple syrup in this
Right.
building now.
Oh, they make maple syrup here.
Right.
And
Okay.
at the end of the tour, we will go to their new cheese factory. They are building a new cheese factory in the village of Cleveland, and that will be our last cheese factory.
Okay. Very good. Okay. Do we have an opportunity to tour inside this building?
Yes, we do. So
Okay. And also, does somebody have a picture of this cheese factory from the olden days?
yeah, we have some
We'll do that at the very end.
at the very end, and Lisa will bring them along to the meeting.
Very good.
But we'll take the pictures anyways, just in case something
Sure.
happens.
Sure. Very good. Thank you very much, folks.
Okay.
Okay, the owners are gracious enough to leave us enter the building from the north side, and it's a descending staircase down, and we'll just take a quick look inside, as long as we got a,
I won't come in.
okay.
I've
Gary,
been in there before.
don't forget, take a picture of this. It's a rope you pull.
Wait a minute, I'll be right there. Okay, the entrance is gained here through a special mechanism, and you pull up a what here?
You pull up a rope and it opens the latch.
It opens the latch, which is right next to you there.
Right.
Okay, good enough.
And the latch is made with a horseshoe.
Okay, I'll look at that too.
Oh.
Okay, this is the latch device here on the frame of the doorway entering into the building.
Not always so much, but
Okay, we're presently inside the classic cheese factory, and presently now they are using it for making maple syrup, and it seems to be in pretty good shape. And I'm just doing a pan to show the inside areas of the building. And there's Audrey. She maybe has something to say.
I wanted to just point out to you,
Yes.
those are all cream cans that they use.
Okay.
For, that's not the first milk can, but those were the milk cans that they used probably in the late 30s, early 40s.
All right. And what size are they? Is there a size given for those types of
How
cans?
many,
You know, 10 gallon, 86 pounds.
86 pounds, 10 gallons, according to Ed.
I don't know that technical.
Good
part.
job, Ed. Thank you.
The other
Okay.
cans were 15 gallon cans that held
Oh.
129 pounds.
All
The
right.
old cans were big and
Big
round.
and round, yes. Okay.
Man operation.
Yeah,
All right.
because I know
That's why they changed.
Sure, because
Okay.
you couldn't, the cover, you couldn't, one man couldn't keep a.
they had a handle on each side.
I
Yeah.
have some yet.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have some of them.
Okay. Well, very good. That's good information. Thank you, and we'll move right. Okay, I'm with Audrey Earle, and she's going to just tell us what this refers to. Go right ahead.
This is the cheese factory. He was one of the first cheesemakers after the Classic sold the building. And this is only the part we saw.
Okay.
This was on there,
Yes.
and I don't know if it was taken off, whether it was torn down, but Lisa said it got moved to the where Brian Kramer's cheese factory is.
Okay, and we'll be doing that one shortly then.
But this was Ed Yost,
All right. Okay.
and
Well-
he was from Cleveland.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much. Okay, I've got someone here who will give us information on this particular picture. Go right ahead, please.
My name is Kathy Sixel, and according to Alisa Klesick, Heimrel, this is Elizabeth Klesick, and she was the cheesemaker. And she taught her sons how to do it, and they took a cheese course near Sheboygan Falls and got certified. And it was her techniques that made this possible.
Okay, but she was the one that taught cheese making.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she was the cheesemaker.
All right.
And then she taught her sons, but then both her sons got certified.
Okay.
And who would have that have been? Audrey? August
August and Leo.
and Leo were her sons.
Were her sons. Okay. Very
Okay.
good. Okay.
Now-
Thank you.
Now that's
Okay, we've got another picture here of a distinguished gentleman, but Audrey will identify herself and indicate what we're looking at.
This is August Klesick, the husband of Elizabeth, and he built that cheese factory, but he wasn't a cheesemaker, she was the cheesemaker.
Really? Okay. Okay. And the sons of August again was what?
Leo and August and Adolf, I think.
All right.
I
All
should
right.
have brought my notes over.
Okay. We'll leave it at that. Thank you.
And-
Okay, we look like we're looking at a family picture of some kind, and
Right, that's-
Audrey, would you like to tell us about it?
This was the family picture of August and Elizabeth Klesick.
Okay.
Uh,
Can you point out the August and
would
Elizabeth?
that be Elizabeth?
and I think that's Elizabeth, and then the one, over, the end one was her husband.
Husband.
And the rest are her sons and 2 daughters.
Oh, really? Can anybody name all them out as far as what their names might be? And identify them?
Probably we can do that at the
At the
history
meeting. We can do that. That'd be
Yeah.
fine. Okay, very good. Very good. Nice, beautiful pictures. Okay, we're here on the Klesick farm. And this is their building here that houses the artifacts of the family.
Before my time.
Okay, a vintage car, a touring as they call it, I believe. And we'll get more.
And they used to call the convertibles.
Okay, so we'll get more information at our meeting about that car. Okay, this lady will identify herself and indicate where we're at. Go right ahead.
My name is Kathy Sixel, and right now we're in the Saxon Farms office, and that is where the vintage car was located.
Okay.
And there are many other photos, and we will come back someday and perhaps take pictures of those too.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, I'm with Mr. Charlie Bauer, and we're on a mission today, and he'll explain what we're all about. Go right ahead, please.
We're at our second stop in locating the cheese factories that were in the Township of Centerville. And we're at the intersection of South Union Road and North Avenue.
Okay.
And North Avenue is also referred to as XX.
All right.
And we're located just north of XX and west of South Union Road.
Okay.
And the house number here is 9014 North Avenue, and we're in section number 19 in the town of Centerville.
Okay.
And that's all I have here at the location.
Okay, and again, there was a former cheese factory here.
Yes, there was.
Exactly almost where you're standing, I presume.
In front of this building towards the east, I believe. Yes.
Oh, in
And I
front of the
think
building,
Audrey-
but to the east. I'm going to pan here, Charlie. Just stay there for a moment.
No.
Okay, I'm panning to the east, and I'm standing right off of, what's the road again here, Charlie?
That would be South Union Road.
Okay.
And you can see there was plenty of room for an extra building in
Yes,
front of the house.
yes, it was available. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, I got a gentleman here who is directing traffic a little bit on his own here. Go right ahead, mister.
I'm Charlie Bauer,
Oh.
and next to me is
Emily Schultz.
nice and loud.
Nice and loud. One more time,
Emily
please.
Schultz.
Thank you. And who do you have here, please?
Stephen Schultz.
Thank you. And who do you have in the back there?
I'm Deanne Schultz, and we bought this property in 1995.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Okay, we got a gentleman here who would like to identify himself, please.
Melvin Yiddish.
Okay, thank you, Melvin. And who is this, please?
Ed Hickman,
Thank you, Ed.
as a young person of around 10 or so, in
Yes.
late 30s and early 40s, I used to ride along with a panel truck that Dad had, and we picked up cream here at the John Hintz cheese
Okay.
factory.
All
which my
right.
Dad made butter.
Okay, good.
I remember full well
Okay.
getting into the place and listening to her John Hintz with his booming low voice.
Good. And you say you picked up butter here, is that correct?
Well, no, we picked up cream. My dad made butter. and we
Okay,
picked up
all right.
Cream.
All right. Thank you. Thank
And
you,
where
Ed.
would that have been, Ed?
I got
Your
a.
chief?
Okay, we got a young lady who had a question for Ed. Go right ahead, please.
Kathy Sixel, and Ed, where was your cheese factory located, or your dad's?
It was in Spring Valley, just
Okay.
about 3 miles northwest of here.
All right, very good. And we've got another young lady here, and she'd like to indicate her name, please.
I'm Audrey Erdle, and I used to live here.
Okay.
This is the picture of when the cheese factory was first built.
Okay. There, great. Just hold it like that, please. Now, is there remnants of the building behind there in the picture? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the house.
Okay, I'm going to pan. Just hold it there yet, Audrey. And I'm going to pan back. And there's the house we're standing in front of. And again, this is the old present owners, as they indicated. So they're part of a major history condition here. We appreciate that. So I'll turn back to you, Audrey, and you can indicate any more information you've got on that picture.
They called it the Centerville Cheese Factory when it was built around 1899.
Okay.
And the brother farmed all this land, was Hinga's land, and they had buildings up there, and the brother helped him build the factory.
Okay.
And then Henry Hingus was the first cheesemaker.
All right. Okay, and anything else?
And then Henry Hingus sold to William Summers, and then to Walter and Anna Summers. And February 1st, 1926, sold to John and Myrtle Hintz. The name was changed to John F. Hintz Cheese Factory, northwest corner of Union Road and Old 149.
Okay.
Closed in 1948, believed to be the last cheese factory in the township that was still running.
Okay, could we see that picture you have in your
This
hand?
is the picture of when the factory belonged to my folks.
Okay, hold it steady for a moment. Right, thank you. Okay, we've got the picture being held by Audrey, and looks like they had a weigh tank out in front. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is the weigh tank, and later years, Western Condensing put up a big high tank.
Okay. Okay. Okay, we got Audrey here. I would say, go ahead, Audrey, please.
Okay. How far was I? Okay. The Western Condensing put up a high tank, and they collected the whey, and the whey was then they started making baby food and different things with the whey.
Oh,
but
okay.
when this whey tank was in existence, the farmers used to come. They unloaded their milk here.
Okay, hold that picture steady. Okay.
And then they drove down to the whey tank.
All right.
And they'd put whey in their cans and take it home to feed to their pigs.
All right. Okay. Very good. Thank you very much, Audrey. Okay, a young lady here who would like to ask a question or provide some information. Go right ahead.
I'm Kathy Sixel, and I would like Audrey to identify the man in the photo, please.
Okay, hold the photo steady. Okay.
The man was Henry Hingis.
All right.
He was the owner of the cheese factory at that time.
Okay.
And he and his brother built the cheese factory.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Okay, the question was if the present owners knew what the age of their home was at this point, and I guess Audrey has an answer for that. Go right ahead, please.
Okay. I believe it was built in 1899 because the plat books, like 1893, showed this all to be just field.
Okay.
And 1899, they showed the square on the corner.
Yes.
So I believe the house and the factory were built in 1899 because the first cheese making was 1900.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you very much, Audrey. Okay, I'm with Mr. Charlie Bauer, and he's got some information to relay. Go right ahead, please.
Yes, we're at our third stop in locating the cheese factories.
Okay.
And again, we're located on South Union Road. And the intersection down here is County X. And the cheese factory that you see behind me is located west of South Union Road and north of County X. We're in Section 7. And the house number here is 9010 County X.
Okay, very good. Again, today's date is September 26, 2006. It's a very nice day, and it's a wonderful opportunity to get information about the old cheese factories from the past. So we'll have more information when I get together with the gang that's with us. And I'm on the east side of Union Road at this point. Okay, I'm with a group of people here who were nice enough to come along and provide information on history of cheese factories. And we'll start with this young lady. Go right ahead, please.
I'm Audrey Erdle, and my research has showed this was Cloverleaf Cheese Factory,
Okay.
northwest corner of Union Road and what is now X, across the road from Brian Kramer.
Okay.
First owner was Oscar Bartle,
Okay.
Edward Lotsy Jr., and Henry Matthias, and after that it was a farmer-owned cheese factory.
Okay, like a co-op perhaps? Is that what it was
Yeah,
called?
all the farmers owned the cheese factory, and they paid a cheesemaker to make cheese for them.
I see. Okay. Anybody else here have any information they can pass on? Go right ahead, please.
I'm Kathy Sixel, and Ed Finkelmeyer, I think, was the last cheesemaker that was here. And after it closed, they came and lived with Donald folks, and that would be Art and Florence Sixel.
Okay. And the reason for the closure, anybody can take that one?
With the when the Lake to Lake formulated,
Oh.
that many little cheese factories closed at that time because
Okay.
that took over.
And again, this was a cheese factory. It's not a butter factory or anything like that, correct?
Well, I guess at first they made butter and cheese.
All right.
Because I have a picture.
Let's have that
I don't
picture.
know if I have it along. But I have a picture with showing 4 men standing in front of this cheese factory.
All right.
And I asked Willard Mathias why they had so many cheese makers, and he said they made cheese and butter.
All right.
And at that time, everything was done by hand, and they needed a lot of workers.
I see. Okay. All right. Very good. Ed Heckman or Buddy, anything there?
Well, my dad made cheese here for the farmers.
You did. What was your dad's name, please?
Ernst
Ernst?
Danish.
Ernst Yenig? Okay.
And he had 2 other men helping him.
Okay.
One was Elbert Fries, and the other one was Roland Jacoby.
Wonderful. Good information. Thank you. Ed, anything from you on this particular factory?
I remember about 1940, first 40s that Dad was picking up cream and making butter in Spring Valley. And,
Yes.
And we picked cream up here too.
You picked cream up here too. My gosh, you made a big circuit to pick up that cream.
That's right.
Okay, very good. Very good. Thank you. Anybody else here? We've got something here. Kathy, you can march right in and we'll get this picture.
I'm Kathy Sixel, and this is a picture of the cheese factory on the top and the 4 workers on the bottom.
Okay.
Besides making cheese, they also made butter. They must have had a large volume of milk, as you can see by the 4 cheesemakers that were employed there.
Okay.
It was in operation from 1893 until the early 1950s.
Okay, good. There you go. Okay, I'm on the west side of the building. Okay, we're at the intersection of South Union Road and Point Creek Road, and Mr. Bauer will give us more information what we're all about today. Again, today is September 26, 2006. Okay, I'm with Mr. Bauer. He'll identify himself in full and tell us what we're all about today. Go right ahead.
Bauer, and we're at our 4th stop in recounting where the cheese factories were in the town of Centerville, and we're on South Union Road and Point Creek at the intersection, and the cheese factory was located just east of South Union Road and south of Union Road.
Okay.
Approximately right behind me.
All right.
And we're in section 8, and the house number here is 11111 South Union Road.
Okay.
And the cheese factory was known as the Pine Grove Cheese Factory.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Right now, Charlie, there's nothing here. Is that correct?
No, the buildings are all totally gone.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
But this was the location.
Okay.
What was the name of this yet?
Pine Grove Cheese Factory.
Okay. Just hold it steady. Okay, we have some information. Maybe this young lady can start us out, please.
My name is Kathy Sixel, and this was the Pine Grove Cheese Factory, and it was run by Adolf Klessig and some other Klessigs. Audrey has a little bit more information on it, and I remember when it was torn down, there was a lot of controversy with the town and so forth, but just exactly what it was all about, I don't know.
Okay.
So.
Very good. I'll pan over then to this young lady. She can identify herself. Go right ahead, please.
I'm Audrey Erdle, and this started out as the Klessig farm, and one of the Adolf Klessig built the cheese factory, and then Leo Klessig ran the cheese factory, and at the end, August Klessig ran the cheese factory.
Okay. Okay. And the building would have been right behind you folks as you're standing here.
Right.
And we'd be looking to the southwest, is that correct?
Southwest.
Okay,
right.
we're looking that direction there. Okay, very good. Okay, we got a picture. Do you know what the age at that time when that picture was taken by any chance?
No, I do not.
Okay.
But Wilford Rick was the last cheesemaker that was here.
All right. Okay. And they demolished it for what reason? Just
I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe they wanted to put up their own facility or garage or something.
all right. Very good. Thank
Okay.
you. Okay, we're at County Trunk F and Center Road intersection. And we'll have Mr. Bauer explain a bit more information here. Okay, well, I guess we have Mr. Bauer here and he'll finalize some location conditions here. Go right ahead,
Yes,
please.
we're on our 5th stop in locating the cheese factories in the town of Centerville. And we're in section 5.
Okay,
And we're on the intersection of Center Road and County Trunk F. And we're just west of Center Road.
okay.
And we are south of County F on the intersection here.
Yes, sir.
And we have a little debate of what address we should use, but the house number here with the residents behind me over here is 6603.
Okay,
And then the building behind the garage here, that address there is 6619, which is often referred to today as the Packer Inn, and
All right.
that building had many different names.
okay.
This cheese factory was either called the Town Line Cheese Factory or Arnold Kepsel. We're not sure. We're going to debate that at great length at our meeting, I believe.
Okay. And across the street here, just for location purposes, is what?
Is the cemetery for St. John Cemetery?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
All right. Very good. Thank you. And who do you have here, please?
Just a minute. One moment.
Okay, we have a picture that is being held by Kathy Sixel, and she maybe can tell us a little bit about it.
This picture, well, first of all, this was Town Line Cheese Factory. There was no picture available, and this was the Kepsel truck, and we're debating if it was Arnold Kepsel ran the factory was the information I have until it was burned down.
Okay.
And Arnold Kepsel's truck was used for hauling milk for Very Fine. So maybe he did even have that truck
Okay.
that it was when he, in later years, we're not sure. But
We're not
that's
sure.
all that was available when I did the history for the township for the 150 years.
Okay. Okay, I got a young lady here who's knowledgeable about cheese factories, and she'd like to indicate her name and some information. Go right ahead.
I'm Audrey Earle, and we believe the cheese factory was in back here, the house, and then there was the cheese factory. But of course, Charlie and I are having a dispute. I
Okay.
said number 5 was Town Line Cheese Factory, and number 6 was Arnold Kepsel Cheese Factory, and he says that's all one. So
Oh, okay. Okay, Charlie, what are you saying there again?
That's the information I have, that there was owned by Arnold Kepsel, but maybe the factory's name was called the Town Line Cheese Factory. Maybe they did business under that particular name,
Okay.
and it's kind of hard to prove one way or the other.
Oh,
You know,
okay. All right.
And we do know there was, on an old plat map, there was another cheese factory just east of us on the same town line road here. On County F, which is the town line between Centerville and the town of Newton.
All right.
So-
Now, as far as the age of the plat map that you're referring to.
1893.
All right.
and mine was 1977.
Okay. All right. And you had compiled some information for a previous centennial, sesquicentennial, if you will?
It was 150 years for the town of Centerville.
Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else anybody got here as far as just basics at this point?
No, I think that covers
Okay.
everything.
Yes, Kathy.
And as long as we have a debate going on, when I did this history for the Township of Centerville, some people had said it was where Packer Inn was, and then they rebuilt that into a tavern,
Okay.
and then, but I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. That's
We're all mixed up there, you
yeah,
know.
I can
And then,
understand.
of course, that tavern burnt down, and that would have been twice the same thing would have burnt.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody can help us out on this.
Good.
It,
Good.
but the tavern at one time was a bowling alley, and then it was Waniger's.
it burned when it was a bowling alley.
when it was a bowling alley.
Okay.
And then, well, Charlie, who rebuilt it?
That I do not know.
Okay.
Okay, and nice and loud, please. We have a young lady here who has got some information that's a little contradiction of other information. Go right ahead, please.
I'm Audrey Earle, and I was told Town Line Cheese Factory next to Dale Erdman Farm. And Arnold Kepsel Cheese Factory, County Road F, a fire destroyed the building, and when it was rebuilt, it was a tavern.
Okay.
But now, Charlie says that's all the same cheese factory. So
All right. Very good. Thank you. And now we have another additional information. Go right ahead, please.
Kathy Sixel, and there was a truck just stopped, and the gentleman was from New Holstein, and he owned the shed right behind me, and he said he just sold it, and that was part of the cheese factory, and that's where this truck was parked.
Okay.
And he said the cheese factory was located at where Packer Inn is today.
Okay. Very good.
So I'm losing this argument 2-1.
2-1. We'll resolve that at our meeting. Thank you very much, folks. Okay, I'm standing to the northeast here, and it's County F and Goss Lake Road intersection. And we will have some information from Mr. Bauer to add to this. Okay, I got Mr. Bauer here, and he'll give us some information. Go right ahead, please.
Okay, we're on our 6th stop in the cheese factory locations in Centerville here. We're at section 3, and the intersection of the road here is County F and Goss Lake Road, and we believe that cheese factory, according to the 1893 plat map, indicates the cheese factory was on the west side of Goss Lake Road.
Okay.
And the south side of County F, right where you see the cornfield growing here.
Yes, sir.
And one thing that might indicate that there was another structure here is if you look down here, you're going to see some rose bushes
Okay.
and a cedar tree growing.
All right.
And that is not a wild thing. That would have been, I believe it would have been planted here, but we don't have any information on
Okay.
the name of the cheese factory or how long it was in business.
All right. No name at all.
No, none whatsoever, no.
Okay. Very good. Well, thank you very much, Charlie. And again, could you give us our road one more time?
The location here is County F and Goss Lake Road,
Okay. Thank you, Charlie.
section 3.
Very good. Appreciate it. Okay, we got one more thing we'd like to add. We're at the area where we think another building was located, but Mr. Barr will provide some more information.
Yes, we went just due east of our previous stop at the Capsule or the Town Line Cheese Factory.
Okay.
And we're approximately 1.5 miles, 2 miles apart from
Okay.
them two.
All right.
And it would be in a good place for a cheese factory. We're at an intersection,
Yes, sir.
and it would make sense to us.
Okay, sounds good, Charlie. Thank you. And with Mr. Charlie Bauer, we're standing on a certain highway. He will give us the description of the locations. Go right ahead, please.
We're on Centerville Road, and the intersection to my right, which would be north of me, is County X. We're approximately 300-400 feet to the south of that.
Okay.
And the cheese factory here is the Maple Leaf Cheese Factory.
All right.
We're in section 15, and the house number here is 12327 Centerville Road.
Okay.
And the cheese factory is located east of Centerville Road.
All right.
Beautiful structure yet.
It's a brick structure, right, Charlie?
Yes, all brick structure, yes.
Okay. And is it affiliated with the home that we have on the north here?
I believe the two buildings go together, yes.
Okay. Very good, Charlie. I'll pan a little bit to encompass that to you, just so it helps. Well, I will. Thank you, Charlie. We have a group of good-natured guests here who are wonderful people who went along with us today to investigate the cheese factory areas. Go right ahead, please.
My name is Kathy Sixel, and we are at the Maple Leaf Cheese Factory, also known as the Kilsmeyer Cheese Factory. It is located on Centerville Road. It was started in 1878. It was later owned by Otto Sixel until 1933, and here's the photo.
Okay, just hold it right there, Kathy. Okay, just keep holding it. Okay, very good. Thank you. And we have another lady here. She may be able to add information. She'll give us her name, please.
I'm Audrey Earle, but I pretty much had the same thing that Kathy already said, except I think this Kilsmeyer was the last cheesemaker here.
Okay.
Well,
Not
I knew the Sixel's daughter that lived here. And so I don't know. I called her. I have no idea.
Oh, okay. But I do know there was a Kilsmeyer, a cheesemaker here.
Okay, very good. And we have another gentleman who will introduce himself. Perhaps he's got some information too. Go right ahead.
Well, Ed Heckman, and I don't really know a lot about the place. I knew it was here, but I have no real knowledge of it.
Okay. You never went through here to pick up any
No,
cream or anything like that?
Never was down here as a kid or picking up cream or...
Okay, very good. Well, we can take some other shots of the building, and if anybody has a thought or two, we'll record that. Thank you. Oh yes, we got one here.
I'm Kathy Sixel, and this property is for sale, and the realtor told me that they are closing on Friday, that a couple from Chicago bought it, and she is an artist, and this is the reason that it sold, was the cheese factory.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, and you indicate we can go in this one too? No.
No.
Okay.
He said come back when they're here. Everything is padlocked.
Okay, we're looking to the northeast, and we're still looking at this actually wonderful cheese factory in pretty darn good condition. Very unique, all brick, metal roof. Wow. Okay, I'm now looking to the northwest. Okay, we're now inside the cheese factory, and that's cleaned out pretty well. We got big timbers in here.
Anybody have any idea where they would have had a boiler?
Is there any?
Well, there's a chimney here, and there's a chimney right there, so it would have to have been one and two rooms here, I would think, huh? Good job.
Okay, Mr. Bauer, you had a question pertaining to the chimneys or something like that?
Well,
Boilers and that type of thing? Okay. And Ed had a different answer for you?
are we rolling, Kate?
Yes, we are.
Oh, yeah, Audrey was asking us if we indicated we could see where the boiler was located, and Ed came up and he reminded us that years ago they made it a little different, and we'll have Ed explain that.
Well, many years ago, they fired right under the vats.
Okay.
They must have had a chimney there too, but it certainly wasn't a boiler. It was
All right.
wood fired.
Wood fire, direct.
Right under the vat.
Right under the vat, okay.
I'm sure by the time the 1880s or 70s or whenever
Yeah.
they, of course, had boilers and heated with steam
All right. Okay.
pipe under the vat.
All right. Thank you very much, Ed. Appreciate it. Okay, we're just inside the factory for a moment, and we just want to take one additional view here. And we're looking to the southwest, I believe. We are now located in the village of Cleveland, and again today's date is September 26, 2006, and Mr. Barr will fill us in on location and so forth. Go right ahead, please.
Yes, we're in the village of Cleveland, like Mr. O'Neill said, and Washington Street is right behind Jerry. And the cross street coming across here is Juniper Street.
Juniper, okay.
And we're in section 28 of the township. And we're at our 8th stop and locating the different cheese factories and dairies that were in the town of Centerville.
Okay.
And the house address here is 1063 West Washington.
Okay.
And the factory would be on the south side of Washington Street.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Charlie. Okay, we're on a mission today, and this young lady will give her identification, please.
I'm Audrey Ertle.
Thank you, Audrey. And who do you have here, please?
Ed Heckman.
Thank you, Ed. And we got another gentleman just joined us.
Willard Matthias.
Thank you, Willard. And we
Kathy
got
Sixel.
Kathy, thank you.
Charlie Bauer.
And Charlie Bauer. Now we'll come back to the center area here, and this gentleman that just joined us has some facts that might be worthy of notation here. Go right ahead, please.
Wait, hold it.
Yes, sir.
Now, did you
Okay, we got a gentleman here who would again indicate what we're standing in front of at this point in time. Go right ahead, please.
We're standing in front of the Matthias Dairy,
Okay.
and my folks bought the place in 1926 from Sixel, and
What was the next Sixel's first name?
what was it? Edward Sixel.
Okay.
And then when he bought the place, he had 14 farms.
Oh my gosh.
And beside making cheese, he run a mink ranch. And when he got done with the mink ranch, then he started in with turkeys. He did everything just to keep on going because there wasn't enough farms around this area. And in those days, the farmers would bring their milk
Yes.
to the dairy, and then you didn't have a truck.
All right.
And then later on, he did buy a truck, and then I forget what year that was, but then we started picking up more stops that other little cheese factories were going out of business, and we did a couple here and a couple there. So then we run that truck for quite a few years, just one truck. And cheese was being made, and all the cans had to be washed by hand and put back on the truck again for the next day.
Okay.
And we also made butter at that time.
All right.
And I don't know, then later on, all the while he had the factory, he was bottling milk for around the village
Okay.
here. And when the trucks, later on, we had more trucks, then the trucks would stop in Haven and deliver milk there while they were going through it, or Newton, or Osmond, wherever the trucks were going through it. There was a little village.
Yeah.
We would stop and deliver milk.
Okay.
And what else would we start with?
Here is one of your trucks.
That's
Got a picture there you can show us, Willard? Sure.
This is the 1938, 39, something like that, truck.
Okay.
And I was sure it was a Chevrolet, but whatever. But anyway, then when we were picking up your milk, we'd have a tank in the back of this cab where they had weigh-in.
All right.
And the farmers wanted their byproduct.
Oh.
From we would deliver their weight to right to the farmer when he picked up his milk.
Okay.
And at that time we got 5 cents 100 for picking up the milk. So you can see you couldn't pay your help too much at that time. No one did make much money. Then you want to go to this picture now?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Now this is a picture of later on where we had a tank out here for our whey.
Okay.
And then a whey company from Adel would come and pick up the whey.
All right.
But if you hold it.
Okay, Willard has some information regarding the whey that was picked up by people. Right ahead, please.
And this, right next to this building where the office is now, we had a big tank up there that held the whey for the farmers so that they could come and park next to it, and we didn't have to have another tank outside.
Okay,
this was inside then.
By gravity feed down to the...
Yep.
All right.
And we pump it in from the factory.
All right. Now you got another picture there, Willard. Is that... can you look at that a little bit?
The one from later on when we put the office on in the front of the building.
Oh, you did that?
Yes. But he did, since then, he did remodel this because the people would, this was our coal chutes at one time where the coal would come in, and then the boilers were in this area.
All right.
And a great big tank was in there that we would cool, it would freeze all the water, and then we'd keep pumping our milk
Oh,
Just water through our lines.
okay, keep it cool. I'm gonna cut.
But
Okay, continue on there, Willard.
the tank that was in here, that would be like an ice bank.
Okay,
And then when the milk would come in the morning, we'd put it, that milk, a lot of it went into the holding tank.
all right,
And then we would run this through our pasteurizer,
okay,
plate pasteurizer, and we would cool this milk off
okay,
that went in there.
all right,
So,
all right. Well,
and this, okay, and this little building that's right on the end over there,
yeah,
that was our, at one time it was our cheese cooler.
okay,
But then when we got into bottling more, we eliminated the cheese cooler, and then we bought the other factory. The other side of town, we hauled it all over there, but kept this
Oh.
one for the
What-
bottled milk.
what was the name of that place that you used there?
Lotsy Cheese House.
Lotsy Cheese House, okay. Now, again, the final question, I guess, would be, it looked like you were having a good business going here, and what may have happened to cause it to decline?
Well, one thing it was, our boilers were getting old,
Yep.
and the state was after us on our pollution deal, on
Oh,
running the stuff out in the back.
yep,
And we did bottled milk for 5 different dairies at
Yeah.
one time, and 2 of them weren't paying us the way they should have.
oh no,
And then from the month of December, January, and February, we had we have 4 trucks on the road delivering the milk to house,
yeah,
and if you can imagine, some of them not paying
yeah,
their
yeah,
bills either.
yeah,
So we had always had so much money to be on the books
yep,
where we couldn't
No.
use it.
yep,
And then you'd get some and then it'd be gone again. So
yeah,
it,
okay.
it was a hard time making
Yeah.
a living.
I can understand. Well, I do thank you, Willard, for
And
taking the
our-
time.
Well, at our peak, we had 26 employees working for us.
Really? Oh my gosh.
And 105 farms.
Wow, fantastic. Well, again, I do want to thank you, Willard, and we'll be using this clip on our next meeting coming up to fill in all the gaps about cheese factories and milk factories. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Willard. Thank you.
My dad bought the place. That used to be an ice house.
Oh, but we have to have that on tape. Well,
Okay.
when we walk around, you can tell us, right?
Anyway, that was an ice house built there with great big doors. And they would put a working tape down.
Okay, Willard has a little bit more information in regard to the olden days. Go right ahead, please.
Oh, in the older days, in this part where the office is now, this was our where we kept ice, blocks of ice
Okay.
from our little pond where the firehouse is now.
Oh, okay.
We would take this ice. The farmers would help my dad,
Yeah.
and they would take this ice off of that pond
Yes.
and haul it over to this part at the dairy,
Yes.
and then they would cover it. So much ice, so much sawdust.
Okay.
So much ice, so much sawdust.
All right.
And then they'd keep at it until close to spring. And then when people had ice boxes but didn't have no ice, no
Yeah.
way to get it,
Yeah.
they would come and buy it from my dad.
Oh.
And he never had, I don't know what they paid, 15 cents. I know one time somebody paid him 15 cents. But
Okay.
we would use that ice for ourselves for in our
Okay.
small cooler
All right.
that we had when they bottled milk for the people around the village and the surrounding areas,
Okay.
and for keeping the butter and thing
Yeah.
and the cream. And we would put these chunks of ice in that cooler to keep the stuff cold.
Okay.
So we used most of it ourselves at
All
one
right.
time.
And what year was that about?
Oh, that I would say, pardon me, got it off. God, that must have been what, 36, 37.
All right.
something like
Very
that,
good.
if not a little before.
Sure.
Well, he had it already right after he bought the place.
Okay.
There.
All right.
And Willard, you said we got ice out of the pond. Did you
And he
say
pointed
what?
where it was. Yes.
Yeah,
he
pointed.
did.
Tell it was the firehouse pond, right?
Yeah.
And then that they went ice skating on this pond, and maybe you should say that.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Over there where our firehouse is standing now, there used
Yeah.
to be a pond.
Okay.
There, and that pond was used for in case somebody had a fire someplace, they could
Oh, okay.
get the water out of that, pump the water
Sure.
out of that pond,
Sure.
and then they could use it for fires.
Okay.
And during the winter when it was froze over, then we would take the ice off of that pond.
All right.
And take it over to our dairy for the cooling of the milk.
Good.
And that pond, I remember one time when Kenny Schnell's building was burning up there, we drained it. They used so much water, they run out of water, and then the Western Condensing Company came with a load of whey, and we used that whey for that fire too.
No kidding. Very good. Thank you very much, Willard. Thank you. Okay, we're in a different location around this particular cheese factory building, and Charlie has a question.
Yes, we're standing here probably on the south side and the west side, I suppose. And I was just asking Willard over here what this little door is over here on the brick part.
Okay.
Okay. That little door was from the cooler. The trucks would back up in the morning and up to that door.
Yeah.
And there'd be a man inside, and they'd give him their slip of what he wanted for his route for that day.
Oh.
And he would shove it out that door to them and he'd check it off inside
Okay.
that they got everything they ordered.
Okay.
And then that side door, that would lead you right into the cheese factory area.
All right.
Okay.
And that other door that's there, that's where we move equipment in and out.
All right.
Say you wanted a bat or press or something.
Okay.
Anything we needed that had to be put in the factory, that's where that door, that's what that door is for.
Now, you didn't have any freezer abilities here to people wanted to put their meat or anything like that,
No,
right?
no.
Okay.
Heckman's and Rody and Newton had that.
All right.
So it didn't pay for us to start that either.
Okay.
And if you see where that cement block is over there,
Right there, Jerry.
that's
Okay. Yes.
that's where our holding tank was sticking out of.
Oh.
That was half out of the building,
All right.
or 3/4 out of the building, and it held about 20,000 pounds of milk. And the rest of that building and over further, that's where the two cheese vats were in that each held 12,500 pounds of milk.
Okay. You're talking no, not that one.
No,
huh?
this on this on the
Other side there.
Yeah, on
All
this
right.
side. And that cement building was built later on.
Okay.
That was for the trucks to go in to get washed, and during the winter they'd be in there to stay out of the weather a little
Sure.
bit. Those are just the house-to-house trucks,
Oh.
delivery trucks.
Delivery trucks for.
in there.
Okay.
All milk truck. We only had 3 of our own trucks that picked up milk in the morning,
All right.
and we had 2 other cheese factories that closed,
Okay.
where they came and brought their own milk here.
All right.
So we had 5 trucks coming in with milk every day.
and them trucks would come in and use this driveway here.
No, they'd use the other. This was more or less used for this, in case. Well, yes, I would say we'll get up to that.
It's on the other side. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
We just moved to the east side of the building now, and we're
Yeah.
still at the southern end of the building here. And I was just wondering where the trucks came and brought the milk
Yes.
to, and if it was on this side of the building here or what. So
Okay. Go right ahead, sir.
You see where that step is now over there?
oh yeah, I can point it out.
Oh, wait a minute. Just wait a minute. Hold on.
Yep.
Models that time, where those old doors are standing there now.
Yes, those two.
That's where the milk came into.
All right.
And then when they came in and they went down that area all the way down,
Yep.
a little further, from there, there's where the dumping station was, where
Okay.
they dumped the milk
All right.
into. We had 2 tanks, each one held 500 pounds,
Okay.
and each farmer would. We had the 2 tanks were, one farmer would have grade A milk, and the
Ah.
other one would have grade B milk.
Yes.
See? And we used one tank for the grade A, that would go into the other holding tank, which was on the other side of that last blocks. There was another holding tank
Okay.
that held about 15,000 pounds of milk.
Okay. Holy cow.
And then that would put the grade A milk would all go in there. The grade B milk from that other tank would go into that holding tank.
Direction over there. Okay.
And where that window is now, that's where the cans came out of.
Oh, the
Okay.
empty cans.
Empty after they
Empty
went
can.
through the can washer. They'd come out of there,
Yeah.
and there was a track that run all the way down to the end of that window, that's down there.
Really?
There was a track because by the time the trucker got done unloading all his milk, then he could drive around and load up his cans again.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I was going to let Charlie do this. Maybe he can. About living quarters.
Yes, was there anybody living up here? I noticed there's a lot of windows upstairs.
Yes, my brother first, when he first came out to Cleveland here, there was no
Your brother's name.
Merlin.
Merlin?
When Merlin first came to Cleveland here, then he was at Sunshine Dairy in Sheboygan, and he came out here. And then there was no place for him to live, so they fixed up this end of the dairy, this end,
Yeah.
and there were 3 bedrooms.
Okay.
And that little room on the way in that corner, that was the bathroom. This was a bedroom, that was a bedroom, and that was a bedroom, and then there was a kitchen and a living room.
Okay. Holy cow.
And so then when he moved out, then I moved in. And then that was when you could have all the hours you wanted.
Okay.
You didn't have to go far to drive there or drive. Some days or some weeks, maybe out of the whole week, I didn't get outside at all. I was inside all day.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Great.
Okay. Well, thank you. We got a gentleman here, and he'd like to indicate who he is and a little location situation. Go right ahead.
Charlie Bauer, and we're on our 9th stop now in locating the different cheese factories and dairies that were located in the town of Centerville. We're still in section 28 in the village of Cleveland. We're at the Lotsy Cheese House, and the house address here is 1263 Hickory Street. And I might add, it's just west of the railroad track. The railroad track's right behind the cameraman.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Charlie. Oh, okay, we're still in Cleveland, and we got some people who would like to identify themselves and give us some information on the building in the background. Go right ahead, please.
Hi, Ed Heckman. I'm here with Charlie Bauer's lady friend. Well, we're running a Lotsy Cheese House. Brings back fond memories of my high school days, and right after that, I used to bring cheese down here from Spring Valley, and
Okay.
Ed and Oscar were my great uncles, and
Okay.
it was just nice people to know. I know if a stack of cheese tipped over on the way down here, why they'd ask if I loaded it with a blower that day. So
Oh, okay.
they were fine gentlemen.
Okay, and when you brought it down there, you used a truck of some kind, and how many pounds did you usually bring?
Well, I don't really know how many pounds, but it was probably a couple ton of cheese at any one time. Usually
Okay.
came down every week.
All right.
And,
Now, did you come down here just to store it, or did they buy it?
no, they bought it and it was shipped out from
Okay.
here. It went wherever, I mean, throughout the country, I suppose.
All right. Okay. Very good.
Of course, they
And
paraffined it,
all right.
got it ready for sale to brokers or whoever bought it.
Okay. And what kind of cheese was it? And was it like I've heard the word Longhorns and so forth? Was it like that type of cheese?
Yeah, it was mostly Longhorns that my dad made, but he'd make several different styles. And,
Okay.
and it was all American cheddar cheese,
All right.
but
Okay.
mostly Longhorn style.
All right. Okay, we got a lady standing next to you, and she'd like to relay some information also. Go right ahead, please.
I'm Audrey Earle, and my father had the cheese factory on Old 149.
Okay.
And Lotsy Cheese Company had a pickup truck, a steak truck, and they came and picked up our cheese.
Okay.
But my father also stored cheese here for resale.
Okay.
And there was a train track came
Oh.
alongside of where that curbing is.
Oh.
And there was a platform that came out, and they'd bring the cheese out and load it onto the railroad car.
Okay, so it was like a spur off.
It was a railroad spur.
Okay, okay, very good. And your dad's name again, please?
John F. Hintz.
Okay, and he'd bring it here for storage mainly.
They picked it up.
Oh, they picked it up.
And he would come down here and tell them, he'd have the boxes marked, which ones were for resale and which ones he wanted stored in their warehouse.
I see, I see.
And in the back,
Who owns the building now?
Roland Lotsy talked about there being a long wooden thing building up in the back.
Yes?
And they went to
shop too.
Mills, the pond down in Hika. They went to the pond in Hika and they cut ice, and he brought it there and they hauled it into that, because see, at first they didn't have refrigeration. They had, the cheese had to be kept cold with with ice.
Okay, all right, very good. Anything else, Audrey?
Well, Edward Lotsy had the cloverleaf factory on Union Road and X, and from there he built this.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't been able to find out what year that was when he built that.
All right. Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, we got another gentleman who was involved with this particular building, and he'd like to indicate his name and give us some information. Go right ahead, please.
I'm Lord Matthias. Our family, when the Lotsy Cheese Company went out of business, then our family, the Matthias Dairy, bought the place.
Oh.
And I remember, I'm pretty sure it was around $5,000 that we paid for it.
Okay.
And we got the cooler in the back is what we needed to store all our cheese. And then the upper door up on top there is where, when the semi came in,
Okay.
we would unload our paper bottles. Our glass bottles would stay down below.
All right.
When,
So you had like cartons, you mean?
yes, we had cartons for milk.
Oh, okay.
And when we'd store them up on top of the cartons. And
Yes.
down below in that door, that's where we could go into to put our glass bottles, because they were heavier.
Oh, yeah.
And they'd all come in big crates that you could handle.
Okay.
And then whenever you went over here to bring the cheese over every day, you could bring some glass bottles and paper products back again. It
Sure.
was
Well, sure.
a very inconvenient way of doing business, but it was cheaper than what we could afford to build onto the
Yeah. Oh, yes.
their place.
Correct.
And then when our dairy closed and we went just to bottle milk, we didn't bottle anymore. We had our milk bottled at the Borden's company.
Okay.
And then we have a hole on the other side there where our trucks could back up, and we could utilize that cooler back there.
Okay.
And that's where we worked out of for about 2 years, and then we got rid of the dairy completely.
Okay.
What was left of it, my brother sold to Lake to Lake, and
All right.
they bought the trucks and
Sure.
the business.
All right. Well, very, very good. Thank you so much. Okay, I've got a young lady here, and she's been helping us all day, and she'd like to identify herself and give us some more information.
I'm Audrey Earle, and after Matthias sold this building,
Yeah.
Cleveland Co-op bought it.
Oh, okay.
And we used it for garage and storage and over the years, but we bought it from the Matthias Dairy.
Okay, that's right. You worked for Cleveland Co-op at that
Yes,
time.
I was the bookkeeper for 22 years.
Okay, all right. Okay, very good. Thank you for all that information, folks. Good. I got a gentleman here who is interested in the building and its construction situations. Go right ahead.
Yes, we're looking at the profile of this building here, the east side of the building here, and what you see here is the actual thickness of the wall.
Wow.
All the windows, when you look through the windows, they're this thick, and I thought it was just a brick-faced building with maybe
Yeah.
a 2x4 frame inside, but
Yeah.
Willard says it's solid.
Solid double. That's
solid.
18 inches if for anything,
And
right?
of all of that, yes. Just
Okay.
amazes me.
Very good. And Charlie, I guess it might be Cream City brick, you think, too?
Cream City brick, yes.
And
yep.
maybe you want to step over here by the corner,
Yep.
and we'll get a little profile what it all was about. Okay, we are looking at, this is the south side we're on right now.
This is the south side, yes.
And maybe just start with the window, Charlie, the
Yes.
profile on top and so
The
forth.
window here, it's arched, and it's the brick are laid in a roll-on type of arch here, and that was quite common, about a 6-inch rise on the windows here.
Yeah,
And they put the brick, they use a brick here for
Yeah.
the ledge on the windowsill.
all right.
And by looking through there's a piece of plywood here, but on the clear glass here, you can actually see how thick that wall is through the window here.
So it's just not one wall, it's around the whole building.
It's around the whole building, yes. And
Okay.
the brick are just in a common pattern. There's no tie-ins on this, so I don't know how they tie
Really?
it in. If it's solid brick, and it does have a double water table or a drip ledge here,
All right.
so the water would come down. And this is quite a tall building, so there'd be a lot of water coming down here and
Okay.
splashing away from the foundation.
Yes. Okay. Very good, Charlie.
I wish I could get inside.
Thank you. Okay, we got a young lady here, and she is acquainted with this building in many ways. She'd like to indicate her name and what it was all about.
I'm Audrey Erdle, and back, Roland Lotsy talked about, this was when I was too young to know what was going on, but there was a building in the back, some kind of a wooden, went up.
Okay,
And
it was taller than this structure, in other words.
Yeah, and they kept it, in the wintertime, they went to, like Mills Pond and different lakes and things and cut the ice.
Okay.
And they hauled it here and put it into this,
Okay.
to help keep that, because on this end
Yeah.
was the refrigeration.
Okay.
After a while, when I was probably 10, 12 years old, that was electric refrigeration. But earlier, it was kept refrigerated with ice.
I see. Okay. And Kathy, could you add something?
I think there was, you can see the framework yet, there was a little building or a little
Oh,
shed
yeah,
on there
yeah,
yet, and
like
that
a-
was torn down. I think the co-op had it, right?
Yeah.
They tore that down when they
Okay.
bought the building. By the way, Audrey is very familiar in this area because she was the bookkeeper at the co-op for many years.
Okay. And the
Yeah.
co-op is located where?
Right here.
Right here. So I'm going to
What's
pan
left
around.
of what's left
What's
of it.
left of it?
That's all torn down.
The mill and the feed
The mill, the feed, and,
and
the store,
the hardware store.
Wow.
those are the only buildings that are left.
Does anybody own this anymore?
Cleveland, or the co-op system that the co-op bought up the co-op.
Oh, okay. They
Like
still.
Reedsville Co-op, and now it's called Country Horizon.
Oh, okay.
And what was the name of it before that, Audrey?
East
East
Central
Central?
Co-op.
East Central Co-op.
And then they bought some more co-op and it became Country Horizon. Now this was, when I worked here, this was the John Deere shop.
Okay.
They sold all the John Deere equipment out of here,
All right.
large and small.
All right. And right now I see the mech.
Mecco is
Na-
using it for storage.
Okay, I see what you mean. Oh, okay.
And my husband, Don Sixel, was the general manager, and I think the second window was where his office was.
Right.
Okay.
And Audrey's office was right
You went
beyond
in
the
that
door.
door,
All
and
right.
the office was the full length of that section.
All
It was
right.
a nice big office, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
it was a very nice office.
Okay. Well, good memories also, I guess, here. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're in the village of Cleveland, and I'm with Mr. Charlie Bauer, and he's going to give us some information about some more cheese factories that are indicated. Go right ahead, please.
We're at our 10th stop in our endeavor to capture all the locations of the different cheese factories or cheese houses or anything that had to do with dairy in the life of the town of Centerville.
Okay.
And we're at the intersection of East Washington Avenue and Center Street.
Okay.
And
Center Street goes which way, please?
Center Street runs north and south.
Okay, we're presently looking north,
Yes.
and the other street is again what?
East Washington, and
Okay.
then it runs east and west.
All right.
And if the camera would just pan over here,
Yeah.
where this green spot is here, this green lawn area.
Yeah.
The 1893 map says there was a creamery there.
Okay.
And then when the camera is done panning this green area over here,
Yes.
right across Washington Street,
Yep.
where the two new homes are here, the map indicates that there was a cheese factory there where these two new homes are.
Oh, okay.
And Willard remembers that in his youth that was a ball diamond. So
Oh, okay.
there was an open space, and maybe prior to that time there was a building there. And,
Yeah.
you know, these old cheese factories,
Okay. They
Either-
come and go, kind of.
they come and go. And
There-
I have a map here, and I want to see if the camera can pick it up to indicate what we're talking about here.
Yes, sir. Okay.
And right here, this is Washington, East Washington.
Okay.
And then this is Center Street here.
Yes, sir.
And this indicates the cheese factories on the north side of Washington,
Okay.
and the creamery on the south side.
Okay, and the railroad track we can use as kind of a gauge here.
Yes, this is the railroad.
And the railroad is to the west of these properties.
Right.
All right.
And the map is 1893. It's a plat map.
Okay, plat map of Centerville.
Yeah. And this is all we know about we have no names for whether it was who owned it or what business ran it or anything or what they produced there.
Okay,
But we thought we notated anyhow because it
Oh,
does
sure.
show up on the map.
very good. Well, thank you very much, Charlie. I think that should do it for today. We got one more stop, I believe, left. Is that correct?
Yes, one more stop.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, this is our final stop, and it's a new cheese factory in the village of Cleveland. Used to be a Schlitz Distributing or something of that nature. We'll find that out to confirm that. But it's a huge building, and they're revamping it to become a cheese factory here in the village of Cleveland. We're going to get the address shortly. Okay, what I tried to start out with here with information, Mr. Bauer will confirm or deny, and he's got the latest. Go right ahead.
We're still in the village of Cleveland, and we're on Hickory Street as farther south as Hickory Street goes. We're at the dead end here.
All right.
And we're at Classic's new cheese factory.
Okay.
It's in the process of being finished off inside and that. And the
Okay,
address here,
what classic is that again?
it's Robert Classic, but I don't know if it's a corporation or LLC or whatever
see.
that all is. But Richard's inside, and he will give you that information.
All right.
And the address here is 855 Hickory Street.
Okay. Okay.
And
is it noted on our map at all? No.
no,
Okay.
I don't have a village map of the different streets in it, but this is at the end of Hickory Street,
All right. Very good.
south end.
Sure. Okay. Very good, Charlie. What was it used for beforehand? Do you know?
It was some sort of beer distributing organization.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll take a look inside and see what we can find out. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
As you can hear, there's construction going on inside this huge building. Staircase going up apparently to some office area.
This is going to be the make room. This also will be part of the make room. Brine tanks. And then there's going to be aging rooms fashioned in an L shape along that wall. And then this real slick concrete right here with the grain is going to be packaged.
This is a huge complex, huh?
How big a boiler?
It's getting smaller as we build in here.
Yeah, 20.
Say it again.
How big a boiler will it take?
You know, you have to ask Jerry about that, or Ramber. I don't know where Ramber
How
went
many
to.
will there work?
Yeah, it's a pretty big fella. I'm not real sure what. I know
Gas
they have
fed, I
one.
suppose.
They have one located, and so yeah, we're anxiously trying to get things tightened up here.
Yeah.
When we got here, the walls were all, pretty rough with flake paint, and there was a insulated ceiling, a vault ceiling in here. We removed all of that.
So where's the insulation?
We took it all out. Well, actually what we're doing now is we're insulating the outside of the building, and we want to put a tin skin on it. A metal skin, we have it all right here in fact.
Okay.
And we put a 4-inch insulation, styrofoam insulation, right down into the foundation, into the footing, all the way up to the top. And we put a 24-foot tin on the sidewalls. So, but the interior, folks, is going to have, there'll be a wall. We have styrofoam, and those styrofoam wall panels are all filled with concrete. Okay.
Oh.
There'll be a wall right along this side of the main doors in here.
Okay.
And there'll be division walls dividing all the various rooms in here. And at this end of the plant, there'll be an 18-foot ceiling. And I believe down here there'll be a 12-foot ceiling. And the machinery, all the inside heating and so forth will be perched on top of that ceiling. A mezzanine ceiling.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, any particular rough estimate of a target completion date at this point?
Well, we're anxiously hoping for January.
Okay.
It's not far off.
No.
Yep.
No.
Could I ask, what kind of different cheeses are you going to make here? And
Here's the man that we need to bring into this conversation here. This is Ramber Emmerich, and he's from Kansas, and he's the main contractor man here. Ramber spent 6 months with us on our farm in about 95?
Maybe about 97.
97?
98.
And he went to the beginning dairy farmers school in Madison, and probably the handiest guy this side of the Mississippi. So he does doing all the, he and Jerry are doing all the fine planning and.
All right.
so what are we going to manufacture here and sell?
They don't know that yet.
They don't know that yet.
They're going to make the cheeses that their milk makes.
And do you have any idea what that would be?
In Europe, the cheeses are made all over the countryside, and each farm and each area makes a different cheese because the grasses they eat make a different cheese. So the cheesemaker says, we don't know until we start making with the milk. The cheese that comes out good, that's the cheese we're going to have.
Okay.
Will it be like a cheese from like in Europe?
Yeah, it'll be a European style handcrafted cheeses.
Okay.
One of the beauties of the plant here is it's a small enough plant where we'll be able to experiment and develop, specialized cheeses that have tiny little niche markets.
Yeah.
And the big fellows don't want to mess around with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And our goal is to seek out those little niche markets.
And are you going to have a store across from Bondi's? Or a little restaurant?
At the moment, we're going to put a small store in the building here in front of the
in
office.
here.
Oh,
Okay.
there. Okay.
And I think eventually that would be our ultimate goal, is to have a small store on the interstate.
Okay.
Yeah. More traffic.
Yeah. But we really want to cater to some of the real cheese lovers.
Oh, yeah.
I know there's a real need for fresh curds in the area.
Yeah.
That's something that we're looking at doing. But there'll be a number of specialty cheeses also.
Good.
Okay.
And that's going to come from, your milk will come from different kinds of cows with different kinds of feeds.
Well, that's true. We graze all of our livestock, and we milk 450 cows, and we're all on pasture for all the green months out of the year. So, like Ramber said, we'll have to do some experimenting.
Yeah.
So,
Very good.
By the way, have you seen the old, up in Denmark, there used to be the old Steve's Cheese Factory up there? That's owned by this Dago outfit from, they bought out the Branch Cheese Factory, and they bought out a bunch of factories. And Osmond through there, they're picking up the milk there, and they take it up to Denmark.
Oricchio?
And
An Italian fellow?
Italian. Now, they have a big plant not too far out of Denmark, where they make all Italian cheeses.
Yep.
And then they have another plant right in Denmark.
Yep.
And that plant used to be with Steve's Cheese. Anyway, since I go up to the cottage lot now. And since the last 5 years, I think he added on to that plant 2 times already. Yeah. And it's got, they make all kinds of cheese. It's $5-6 a pound or better.
Sure.
And they got, instead of getting it shipped over from Italy and all over here, they can make it here.
Exactly.
And the bosses, there's 3 bosses, Italian boys.
Yeah.
They can stay, what is it, 18 months at a time, then they have to go back. And then another one comes. So that way they're rotating.
Sure.
And there's only the 3 brothers that are managing this whole deal. But they make all kinds of different cheese in that factory. It's a small factory. It used to be small. But they're getting bigger right along too.
Well, that's interesting.
Did you ever have baked cheese? Baked cheese? It comes from the Amish country near Sparta.
I've heard of cooked cheese, but never baked cheese.
It's baked, yeah. I'll have to bring some along back, let you taste it. I love it.
You like it, Kathy?
Yeah, I love it.
Another factor for the European style cheeses is that each one's made, put in a cave for aging. And each cave has a different bacteria, different moisture level, produces different aging cheese.
Right? Yeah.
So we have going to have 7 different concrete caves around this whole corner. So we have 7 different aging rooms that we can age cheeses at different ages.
Wow.
Okay, we're here on Sutter Road, I believe, and Charlie will explain a little bit further what we're up to. We've got another gentleman here, Reuben Goss, to help us, I believe, resolve some questions and so forth, since he's got the age to go with it. And I'm panning around here just to show our areas, and we'll get back to the gentleman here and they'll introduce themselves. Go right ahead.
I'm Charlie Bauer, and I'm standing here with Reuben Goss. And Reuben Goss is, how old are you, Reuben?
91.
Reuben is 91 years old.
Young.
90 years and 91 years young. I'm sorry. And Reuben used to haul milk. When he picked up, he had a truck, and he worked and he loaded the milk cans. And he was explaining to us about this cheese factory here. We're standing in one part of the driveway here. It used to be a horseshoe-shaped driveway.
Okay.
It came in here and came out the driveway where the house is now, just a little bit north of where we're standing.
Okay.
So it was horseshoe-shaped.
All right.
And the cheese factory itself was kind of located, I say, just a little south of that basketball hoop in this area here. And some of the structure was brick.
Okay.
And I suppose the rest was wood, Reuben, huh? Yeah.
So the entryways again came off of Middle Road, is that correct? The entrance
Center Road.
and the Center Road, I'm
Center
sorry.
Road, yes.
And it was a horseshoe shape, you indicate, and you could enter and exit that direction.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And one other thing we did learn, that, as Reuben indicated to me, that it was also known as the Town Line Cheese Factory.
Okay.
And that had to do with the County F is the town line in between the town of Centerville and the town of Newton.
Okay. And Charlie, indicate the road condition at that time as far as a curve, would you?
Yes. There was not a regular intersection here.
Okay.
Center Road made a big giant curve to the, it depends which way you're going.
If you went to the north.
Yeah, because that was part of County N, and before it was County N, it was 141. It was the main road.
Okay.
And all the roads, when they came to a corner, they just made a curve
Big
so
curve.
the traffic would keep flowing.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And anything else as far as the demise of this?
You gotta ask Reuben how long this cheese factory operated, and maybe when did it quit doing business.
See, I think back, I got married in 1940, and I worked, and this was running it, and I worked. Okay.
Okay. Charlie, what have we got there?
Yes, the question was asked when this particular cheese factory closed or went out of business, and it's 1940, 41. It close? In the early 40s.
Okay. All right.
Late 30s.
Okay. Very good.
And Reuben says all they made here was cheese.
All right. Okay. Very good. Well, I think we've got pretty much of that resolved at this point in time.
And we're going to go down to that other cheese factory.
Yep.
That was on Centerville Road.
Yep.
And the other day when we were there was nothing more than a cornfield,
Right.
a rose bush, and a cedar tree there.
All right.
And we're going to take Reuben down there and see if he can have any recall of the cheese factory there.
Very good. Thank you. Isn't that something? The size of that thing, huh? Ruben says he'd like to put this in his shed. He'd offer it up.
Not sure it'll fit.
I think he might have a little trouble. Right now he's just got a Ford. Go right ahead. Okay, we stopped this gentleman on the road, on Goss Lake Road, at the intersection of County F and Goss Lake Road. And Charlie's inquiring if he knows anything about this area, or if he has any information to lead us to something.